Welcome to the 2023 LCS Game Changers. I am Emily Rand. I am more than happy to be joined by Ashley Kong and Jolly for this desk. It's amazing to see you again.
Oh my God,
we never get to see each other.
Yeah, exactly. The last time we met was, I don't know, like Korea or something, but it's so great to be here at LA.
Yeah, and same, right? It's been so long. My first time here, but I could not be more excited.
Yeah, I know. It's great to meet you. I've seen you on so many other casts, so it's really cool to meet in person. It's just really cool to be meeting everyone in person for Game Changers, honestly. Like, everyone has just been so chill and so nice. It's been great.
And so excited. I have not felt this much excitement in a single building in a very long time. And it's been like that for the entire week, really, ever since everything started. Media Day, all of it. The players are having so much fun.
Exactly. The players came into the studio for the first time 2 days ago for the Asset Day, and I know they were super excited about the idea of coming to the Riot studio and just getting prepared to step on the stage for the first time. And that is exactly what we are going to see today at the finals.
Yeah, so the goal of Game Changers, if you are unaware, is empowerment, representation, and mentorship. And kind of under those three pillars, here is a very cool drawing of our three teams, which I think is sick. I actually am an artist. I wish I could draw this well. So thank you, Luz Dene Mateos, for this amazing drawing of our players.
And I do realize that Riot is currently partnering with Sido to bring out all these collaborations and organize the tournament in general, and it's been super fun.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing behind this too. You know, mentorship was one of the things that you mentioned there, Emily, and Sido has been such a huge proprietor of that and allowing just a welcome space for all of these players, marginalized players, to come in and feel at home.
Yeah, and I think with the Sido partnership, the most important thing is kind of taking a lot of feedback from players. I know Avril went on Hotline League and talked about this extensively, but just kind of looking over at what they do for Valorant and being like, can we have some of this too? And I know one of the cool things for partnering with Sido is that it's run by Parth, who prior TSM GM. So I know one of the things he really wanted to focus on was also making sure that like the managerial and like coaching staff also got that same kind of mentorship and experience.
Yeah, throughout the tournament, I have not only interacted with the players, but also the coaching staff, as well as the manager, who are like integral part of the esports system. And it's really, really awesome to see them also getting experience and truly getting feels on what being part of the, you know, not just like being part of the tournament, but organizing, scouting, just pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest parts about just the LCS Game Changers for me in general, is the fact that far ahead of time, they went with the coaches and the managers. And then from there, they began their scouting. And they kind of figured out what sort of elements they wanted to bring in as individual teams. And we have three awesome teams here today.
Yeah, and they each partnered actually with an LCS org, right? So a bunch of orgs did want to be a part of Game Changers. The winning ones were NRG, who partnered with Arcana. We also have so yeah, we'll see a bunch of tweets from social media. Golden Guardians partnering with Serenity, and then finally Team Liquid Honda partnering with Astrocats.
I do realize that those LCS teams have been working very, very closely with the respective Game Changer teams. And yesterday, I do believe that some Game Changers teams even went to the gaming facilities, and the players were super excited about the idea of going to the Team Liquid Alien facility or going to RNG to get that feeling of what, you know, scrimming in the real facilities are like. So they were super exciting for them. I was really, really happy for their excitement too.
Yeah, I saw a Billy Worth tweet about eating mustard ice cream at the Team Liquid facility, so I thought that was really cool. I mean, I would probably eat it, honestly. It sounds kind of good to me. I'm a weirdo. The other cool thing, I know Avril also mentioned this in her Hotline League interview, but it was this idea that they could come up with their own brand for each of these teams. So they each put together like different mood boards. We've had different contributing artists, which I don't know, like I love this kind of stuff. I see a lot of passion and fan art coming out of, especially, Ashley, I know you see it in LCK all the time, and LPL teams. So it's cool to see these teams kind of rally around and come up with their own ideas.
Yeah, you saw Arcana, really cool, did those tarot cards for each individual player, and so they were able to like assign a tarot and artwork to each one. And then the lotus flower as well. You've got the adorable little frogs that we see coming out here for Arcana. And of course, all the cats, Astro Cats. Basically, the idea was cats, right? And kind of going with space, astronaut themes was where they started. And they ended up mashing it together and coming up with Astro Cats. And I love the collaboration behind these teams.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like it just brings like a whole new level of authenticity into like those teams really existing and fans getting to support those teams. So it just really feels immersive.
Yeah, and I know again we're seeing a lot of
stickers.
Those are adorable. The little frog
plushie.
Yeah, Serenity is actually giving these out coming into the matches, and then afterwards we'll have fan meets with all of our teams where they will have merch as well. So that's going to be really fun.
I'm excited. Apparently, we have to give that one back. We were not able to take that one, but I'm going to take this one.
You're taking the
That's mine. That's mine. It says thank you from Serenity on the back. It's clearly addressed to me.
Yeah. So obviously the teams are super excited to be playing on stage. As you mentioned, Ashley, and again, we're seeing these. They were hosted by the teams in their actual facilities, and they got to practice there. But previously, I know, Jolly, you were a part of the cast, and Ashley, you were doing interviews. We had 3 weeks of exhibition matches. Excuse me, this is my first time hosting. And we're going to pull up the standings right now with Astro Cats at the top, 7-5 record, Arcana at 6-6, and then Serenity at 5-7.
Yeah, because for people who have not been following the exhibition matches, it's been really, really interesting with different narratives. Astro Cats were very, very miles ahead, like even going to 7-1 in the first 2 weeks of the games, but Arcana and Serenity clearly having the momentum, clearly surging up in the last week of the exhibition matches.
Yeah, and that's what makes this Arcana Serenity 3rd place match super interesting. As you said, especially because of their dominance over those first 2 weeks, Astro Cats are actually waiting in the finals for the winner of Arcana and Serenity today. And like you said, Ashley, I think what makes it super interesting is because Serenity has kind of had this week 3 push that's been really fascinating to watch.
Yeah, it's been a lot of growth. And when we talk about Serenity as a team, we're looking at more individual solo players that have come together. And not only that, but they haven't had a lot of an opportunity to do scrims. They've got so much going on in their personal lives. I mean, one of the players has 3 jobs. You've got school going on. So the fact that we've seen this much growth just over the course of these 3 exhibition weeks is very exciting.
Yeah. And I think right now it's time to meet the players on these teams. So we're going to talk about Arcana first. In the top lane, we have Aquatic, Jungle, Empy, Ayukura in mid, Ryle at AD carry, and Shirley at support. And I think, obviously, we can say a lot of things about a lot of these players. One thing that was really cool was catching up with Empy at this kind of like little mixer thing that we had, and I was talking to them about just their approach overall to the game. And I got the sense that they're kind of like the ultimate fill player, where they're like, if you want me to play this, I will do it. If you need me to do this for the team, I will do it. And talking to them about how much they've learned in terms of, obviously they're in jungle today, but playing different roles, playing different champions, they felt like they had learned the most about the game by just filling.
Yeah, and that can be said really kind of about the whole team, right? We're talking about the depth of the champion pools. We're talking about the ability to just play incredibly aggressive comps and get away with things that, honestly, they should not reasonably be able to.
And that's like the really exciting thing about this team. And I guess the highlight player for Arcana is obviously Rao. This tournament has been seen as like a very bot-centric meta, and Rao has obviously been, the top of the standings. She does pop up. You see her on crazy champions, not only on the traditional bot lane champions such as Kai'Sa or Tristana, or even Yasuo. I'm just waiting for the highlight clips to perhaps get to that. But it's been super interesting to see her. Recently in the mixer, I chatted with her, and she said her favorite bot lane champion is actually bot lane player is actually Abel all the way to LPL. And this obviously reflects on her super confident, aggressive, skirmish-oriented playstyle.
Yeah, that makes sense. That fandom makes sense for sure. And, you know, the funniest part about this is we're talking about a bot-centric focus for these drafts, but it's not until like pick 4, pick 5 that Ryle is actually locking in these AD carries. So there's a lot of flexibility around the team in general, and I do think that MP provides a good amount of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that was the most interesting in catching up with this team, watching their games, reviewing the VODs, is that they want to fight. And they have been more than upfront about, like, you know, we need to hold on to these leads we do manage to get. There's Ryle right there.
So
she's ready to take everyone on. This team is so fun because you brought up Abel. They remind me of an LPL team where if they see a chance, they're going to be overloading one of the sides of the map and they're going to be trying to fight you.
It's incredible how well they do it too. They have pressure across really the entire map. I was talking about MP there, and MP has done an amazing job of sort of filling this role of saying, all right, let's sort of go in with this win condition, and then you guys mold around me. And, you know, I would say that this team, in terms of utilizing that aggression to move forward across the weeks, while maybe we haven't seen a ton of improvement, we have seen so much flexibility and adaptability that it doesn't really matter at that point.
And we'll see if that works out today. Production is now going to test us on how much we read the sheets that players filled out. They filled out questionnaires, which you might have seen some of on the Know Your Pro. But they are going to ask us a question or tell us a fact about a player, and we now have to guess. Who speaks fluent Spanish and has lived in Latin America for 6 years? Actually, I think I remember this one.
Now, I feel very terrible as I try to contribute to this game because every time I get an answer wrong, I'll just, like, you know, have this guilt towards the player that maybe
we're a team. If one of us gets it right, we all get it right. All right, okay. I remember this from the sheet. I'm pretty sure it's Ryle. This is Ryle, right? Yeah, I picked the right card. Okay. I think it's Ryle.
Again, I feel super bad, but somehow, like, you know, when you got that question, I just had a feeling for aquatic, so there you go, I will go.
Right, well, we all have somebody different on this one because, you know what, I'm like, hey, Gabrielle seems like the kind of player, the kind of coach that is going to have some good background.
All right, production, who is it? Yes!
Oh,
all right,
that doesn't count.
Of course it was Emily. Of course it was Emily.
I play these games all the time on LCS. Where I just read whose favorite animal is a hedgehog?
Oh my God.
I don't remember this one, not gonna lie. All right,
okay.
Production's telling us to pick quickly, so we're gonna...
I have mine. I'll wait for you.
Ikra. That's my guess.
Oh my God, I also went with Ikra. She has like that, like, you know, really love hedgehog vibe for some reason.
I went with MP because, you know, the claws, right? I feel like they have that kind of hedgehog vibe.
Okay. It is MP. You got it right. All right, quickly, we'll move on to the third because I think we are running out of time. Whose favorite pro player and best friend is Saligo? Wait, so now I feel like I have to guess Kirk because she's a mid laner.
Oh. Okay.
That's going to be my guess now.
I want to go with Arcana again.
Yeah, well, now I have to pick something different because you guys have already thrown yours up. So I'm just going to say Shirley because, you know, eyes on support.
It is. Yes. I mean, I just guessed it.
Mid lane, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to Serenity, so Arcana's opponents. Here we have Shysept in the top lane, Shapeshift in jungle, Miss Teemo in mid, Yumichi at AD carry, and Heloisia in support. This team has definitely been the most improved, I would say. And I can only say that because of, you know, the amount of solo play that we've seen from them. But at the same time, there have been a few problems that they had towards the beginning of the few weeks, right? Not being able to scrim a ton and finding a lot of synergy within themselves as a team and really falling into the aggressive play style that they enjoyed to do, but actually creating more fruitful plays out of it and figuring out win conditions in the long run.
Yeah, speaking of like improving and synergy in general, I do want to put your attention to the Shysept. Shysept, who has been often dubbed as the Shysept, in the Twitch chat, her synergy with the jungler Shapeshift. Shysept, obviously a very strong laner and pulling out a variety of champions, and also Shapeshift being very, very famous for having like a fast jungle wave clear. But those two players not necessarily having a good synergy in terms of tempo and finding the right timing for top lane ganks when it came to week 1 and week 2 of the game changers, but we saw the immense improvement in week 3 of game changers, which Emily can hopefully educate us more about because it's her profession. Talking about jungle.
It's not my profession. I'm an AD carry man. I just do jungle pathing spreadsheets. They are the most, but you both brought it up, right? They are the most improved team thus far in terms of win record. So 1-3, 1-3, and then 3-1 in their final week. And I do think a lot of that has come from Shapeshift and having better coordination with her lanes. Obviously, she actually has multiple world record clears. She's can be incredibly fast and incredibly efficient with her full clears, and it's been finding that jungle to lane synergy. This team, even when they were struggling, had some good vibes, and they put out a bunch of mic checks. So we're gonna hear directly from them now from one of their matches.
Oh my god, they do not.
Yeah, whatever. Go whatever.
I'm sending it.
No way. You go?
Okay, let's go.
Oh my god, good job.
What's the ban quote for Twitch?
I'm on to you.
I don't know, I didn't even hear it.
That was I just did it. I'm on to you.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I didn't know we had the Twitch voice actor in the call.
Yeah,
Oh my
there's Twitch in the
God.
call? That's crazy.
Mind control them to not ban roll.
What will they cook? Okay, well. I'm behind.
They're gonna let me do this?
I'm here.
I'm fine.
I have W for you. I have W for you. Yeah.
Cast.
H. Nice.
Nice. Really good.
They're walking in.
I'm on some. Listen.
Can we go on? Can we go on Cassio? Cassio.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
Copy.
Keep going. Jackson.
Going.
Nuking them.
No flash, they're HP.
Ulti.
Nice.
Next turn.
Nice. Good job.
Big.
Pull it. Just.
No way.
Go.
Okay.
Puppy behind.
There you go. No, Keith, just go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Keep going.
Wait.
Ignore the poppy.
And.
Yeah. Okay. Poppy's the only one left. Oh yeah, get your penta.
No, I killed it.
Oh wait, never mind.
I'm gonna bring you away.
Wow, they're having so much fun in general. You can just feel it.
Also, again, I know Jolly brought up like this is the most like, oh, we're taking solo queue players and kind of putting them on the team.
Yep.
Their comms are surprisingly clean.
Yeah. And you know what? I also think for a team like this, one of the things I look most forward to on these kinds of events is the improvement and the adaptability that these teams show. And my goodness, when we're talking about Shapeshift having so many of these amazing clears, being able to have, pros following them at Lol Shapeshift. If you want to check out their YouTube videos, they provide a lot of really good informational stuff, but being able to immediately apply it, even though they don't have the opportunity to get as many scrims in as they really would have liked.
And now we are going to guess, once again, as we look at some of the players, production is going to quiz us on how much we paid attention to Serenity's fact sheet, whose name originates from champions they played in Season 5.
Oh, wow. Okay, I have mine.
So I have my guess, but I also know this comes from like her actual name, but this is the only person with a player in there, or a champion in their name. So I'm guessing Miss Timo.
I think I came with the same conclusion because it's like the nickname is Miss Timo. So perhaps like the nickname comes from Timo. Maybe she played it a lot.
All right, here it threw me off though with the miss because it said champions. So you know what? I put Heloisia because I have a feeling that seems like a mixture.
You're actually right. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, crap. Jolly paid attention to the sheet.
Apparently not, though. It's Shapeshift, right?
It was Shapeshift. Okay, never mind.
Which
Wow.
champions? I get Shapeshift. Oh, Nidalee?
Yeah.
Doi.
Nidalee transforms. Who performed, wait, I didn't know this. Who performed with Gwen Stefani as part of the UCLA marching band at the Hollywood Bowl? That's sick. first of all. Second of all, I have no idea.
I'm going to look for a player that gives me the biggest Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have no clue. I want to say it's at one of the bot lane. All right.
Don't look at me. Look at me.
No, I'm cheating. I know.
Don't cheating.
I don't know why. I'm just guessing Yumichi. I have no reason behind this.
Oh my god, I'm going with the same vibe. I don't know. It's just like a gut feeling thing. I'm also going with Yumichi.
Let's make that 3.
Wow.
I picked Yumichi as well. I'm doubling down on
get it?
Yumichi.
No.
All of us are wrong.
It was Macris. Okay. Third, who is a big fan of Studio Ghibli movies and listens to Joe Hisaishi on repeat? First of all, also awesome. I'm a big anime fan. Second of all, I remember reading this and I do not remember who it was.
Should I triple down? I don't know.
Speaking of this, whoever that is.
I'm trying to think if, I don't know why I feel like it's Shapeshift. But I feel like production wouldn't give us the same player. So I'll guess Shisept.
I am going to go with Miss Timo again because I do realize that she has like a Japanese background in Studio Ghibli, and Jo Hirashai is obviously from Japan too. So,
well, great minds think alike there, Ashley, because I also did Miss Timo.
Yeah, nice. You guys kicked my butt.
We're getting better. We're getting better.
Speaking of, I am more than thrilled to actually welcome to the desk now former INTZ support and current Team Liquid Honda content creator, Mayumi is going to join us. Yay!
I'm gonna shift this way.
Oh, your outfit's so cute. Hello, good to see you again.
You have to dress me next time.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's going on with all the flowers?
Oh, you like it? That was the most colorful thing I found in my wardrobe.
She's like secretly supporting Serenity. Like her bias is showing up.
No, I can't be unbiased.
Like it's like just obviously floating with the logo.
I need to be unbiased. Like I know there's a team, the Team Liquid supporting, but like I need to be unbiased, you know?
It's okay, we are all esports.
So you're a secret Astro Cats fan.
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
No, and like it's good to have you here. And I know that you've also been involved in Game Changers in general.
Yeah.
Like, you know, being like one of the mentors for all the teams and players. Maybe that's one of the reasons why you can't have a bias, but how has your experience been so far?
Oh, it's been lovely. Like I don't know if you know, but I've started my career in like in a scene like that, and seeing like all these things happening like in a scene, I feel so blessed, and I feel so happy seeing everyone like so excited to play on stage. And like I started like since the beginning seeing everyone like start playing, and they're super excited, and seeing them to come here and like do what they want, I feel so happy for them.
And you know what? Like without naming any players, I know that many players were also super excited to, oh my God, I get to meet Mayumi. Because they were like so excited to see you at the mingle. But, you know, obviously you are the figure that many people will look up to in general around the scene. You're such a significant content creator working for Team Liquid right now. And as Emily has introduced, you are also like a pro player back in IMTZ. So can you tell us more about your experience and how that, you know, correlates to working in the tournaments?
Oh, so I was a pro player back in 2019, 2020. And as I said, I started my career in a scene like this. Like it was small, like it was in Brazil, right? But was really significant for us. So seeing Riot support like something like that is really important for us. And when I was a pro player, I've learned a lot of stuff, even though it was in Brazil, even though it wasn't like an amateur championship, I've learned a lot. I screamed with like mixing, and I had to do like a lot of stuff with psychologists and all, like, yeah, something like with a good background, like you have to do like you have to do extra, you know, like for being a girl in the scene, you have to do extra to fit in it, and you know how it feels. I know you're in the scene for like a little bit like longer too, and you know how it feels. But yeah, like I feel like with all my experiences and like everything that I've worked in the scene, I can like bring a lot to Game Changers, and I feel like I can teach a lot to the girls and all the non-binary people in the championship too.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can bring a lot, and every time that they have like questions, everything, so they bring it to me, and I'm always open for them.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. This is my first time coming to LCS.
Oh my gosh, you're doing great. I love it. And you're gonna stay with us now that we're going to cover the matchup that we're about to see. So Arcana versus Serenity. We're gonna rerun the bracket because, as we joke in LCS, people don't pay attention at the beginning of the show. No, I'm just kidding. But the third place match we're about to see, like I said, is between Arcana and Serenity, and then Astrocats, which is Team Liquid Honda's team that they partnered with, is waiting for them in the finals. I think the big thing to stress about these two teams is that they're actually 1-1 against each other, Jolly, and it's a very close matchup.
It is. I mean, you know, there's a lot to be said when we're talking about three teams and everybody looks relatively close together. But when these two teams go face to face on the Rift, I swear I would put money down that a single team is about to win the game. And then all of a sudden it flip-flops, heads turns to tails. And, you know, they manage to kind of pull out these incredible plays and really work together and communicate well to be able to turn things around. So we had to make predictions on this one, but my gosh, it was probably one of the hardest things I have done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing again in these two teams and their closeness is, I know Arcana always want to fight, and a lot of that is, you know, through the flexibility that Ryle can end up bringing. And then on the flip side, the thing that has impressed me the most about Serenity, especially in week 3, is their kind of shapeshifts better attention to her lanes. And then additionally, I actually, coming up, have a top lane dive that I want to look at on the Telestrator, because as people know, I really like jungle, the lane synergy, all the boring stuff that other people don't like. So basically, like I said, going into their first few weeks, Shapeshift is an incredible jungler in terms of clear speed, right? And then it was about her being able to communicate and meet up with her lanes. Here, this is a clip from week 3, and then facing Astrocats. Shysept is going to end up shoving this wave here, and then here we see Shapeshift here. In previous weeks, a lot of this would come down to they would end up struggling where, especially in bot lane plays against that Astrocats in the first time they met Astrocats, they didn't end up managing to synergize particularly well, but here, Shapeshift immediately turns. They end up being able to pull off the dive here. And I think, again, the big thing I just really want to stress is that it's all about these like really small timings, where previously I think Shapeshift would do these phenomenal clears, but then not necessarily be able to link up with the team, especially bot lane the first time they met Astrocats. In this week 3 game, it worked really, really well on top side.
And that's going back to, you know, the adaptability that I was talking about, right? Even with the team not able to play a ton, they show it game by game, week by week. And we're talking about, you know, series that are it's not a best of 3 series, it's a 1-1, right? They have 2 chances and they don't have a lot of opportunities to play against each other and, you know, see exactly how much the other team grows. So this is an exciting match. I can't say the most exciting because, of course, we have 3 teams, but like I said, it's a difficult one to predict, that's for sure.
Well, like Meme said, no bias on this desk. I am curious to see people's predictions, though, so they're going to fly up. Production said that we'd be surprised. I'm not really sure. Okay, all right, so I am the only one going into, you know, week 3. Again, we talked about Serenity and how much they improved in that final week. I did end up sticking with Arcana, so maybe we'll see.
I don't know, like as someone who has been following multiple leagues, including like, you know, LCK, LEC, and LCS, I do realize how big of a factor momentum is going into, let's say, playoffs or an important match such as the finals today. So I just feel like that, you know, Serenity has like a very strong momentum going into the finals. So I don't know, I believe in those factors.
We'll see. It is going to be really close. Like we said, these two teams are really close. You've heard enough from us. You're probably sick of us. So we are actually going to get to the most exciting part. Obviously, the players are super excited to play here at the Riot Games Arena, and it is time to do so. So now we are going to throw to our LCS Game Changers opening celebration featuring the one and only Jolly.
Welcome all to the Riot Games Arena. My name is Jolly, and it is my pleasure to introduce this year's incredible participants for the 2023 LCS Game Changers. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Team Serenity. In the top lane, Shysept. Jungle, Shapeshift. Mid, Miss Teemo. ADC, Yumichi, and support, Heloisia, with Coach Macris and Manager Perchance. Let's welcome our next team, Arcana. In the top lane, we have Aquatic. In the jungle, Empy. Mid, Ayukura. ADC, Ryle, and support, Shirley, with Coach Summer and Manager Gabrielle. Finally, our top-seeded team, please welcome the Astro Cats. In our top lane, Muramina, jungle, Solaria, mid, Fairy Girl, ADC, Avril, and support, Billyworth, with Coach Quatch and Manager Marbles. Put your hands together for all of our participants. The 2023 LCS Game Changer starts right now.
I do think all the games so far have been AD carry centric. It's really hard to compare who's better or who's worse because we are just, I feel like all three of us are very different players.
And here comes Avril over the top. Ryle also let him have it in the 1v2 fight. Oh, that flash was so sick, Ryle!
I think I play the opposite playstyle of how you're supposed to play bot lane. I think usually people play bot lane really like safe, really like scaly. I'm kind of the opposite player where I just want to kill you. Like if you take one misclick forward, I'm gonna punish it.
Uh-oh,
Oh no,
Yumichi in a
Yumichi.
bit of
Oh,
trouble.
that's
Ryle
not
gonna get the
good.
shutdown. And indeed, the double is there. Ryle and Shirley getting some revenge.
I try and get into headspace that I'm just like, I can be better than my opponent every single time, and that I just need Tippy, and that kind of helps me with my playstyle as well, because you know it makes it easier to be confident about like my decisions to punish.
There are a lot of things that separate me from the other AD carries. Both of the other AD carries love to show off and love to try to outplay people. I love to take a more consistent side and like knowing the game in and out. If I would compare myself to a pro player, it would be like sneaky. Like consistently always like has major impact even if they're not getting all the resources on the team.
Avril getting ignited. Yumichi gonna dive on in, but it is a step too far.
The player that has impressed me most is honestly probably Yumichi. I do think Yumichi is like really good mechanically, and that's kind of how I play the game too, is I just like to mechanics check people, and she is really good mechanically, so yeah, I'm a little worried about that.
I'm really excited to rematch Yumichi. We've always had this like rivalry, this very friendly rivalry that like we always support each other, but we always have like this drive to be better than each other.
Oh, they're going. It's a solo.
Run away, but the ignite is taken down, and that's first blood picked up for Yumichi.
Two.
Most pumped as well. She is not flash forward double kill for Yumichi.
I'm pretty excited to play against both the AD carries, both Avril and Yumi. I'm just waiting for such a long time to get the opportunity to prove myself against them. And I think that the stage is a good opportunity to do that.
As of course the AD carries are finding a bit vain, should be better in this spot, but Ryle, so good. Oh, that condemn, absolutely sick nasty, and it's a 1-for-1.
A message for the other AD carry players. Keep banning me out 3 to 4 bans a game. You're a little terrified, I can feel it.
A message I have for the other ADC players, drop ego and don't underestimate me.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Riot LCS Center.
I am so excited for the LCS Game Changers Finals. I have Capcom joining me today. It's beautiful. Covey, I'm just so excited. We have 2 best of 3s for you today. First up will be the 3rd place match, that is Arcana versus Serenity. You can see them behind us. They're currently set up on the stage. And of course, the second match will be winner of this first best of 3 taking on the current first place team, the Astrocats.
I know if you win, you get the 2-for-1 duo on the stage, right? I feel like that's like the big win here. Everyone wants to play in the Riot Games arena and, hey, have a chance to run the gauntlet here with the first 2 teams we have today.
For sure. I mean, we're looking for, I'm looking for 6 total games today, right? Like, we've got 2 best of 3s, 6 possible games. I want 6 total games here. We do move straight into the first champion. Select Arcana with the higher seed moving into today. Do opt for blue side here, game 1.
Well, Camcom, I have good news for you and everyone else that wants 6 games, because when it comes to this first match, it's like a best of 9 that we have. Because
we do, yeah.
Through the first 3 weeks of play, not only are these 2 teams, the head-to-head is even, but it has been 3-1-1. So this is like the rubber match. It's finally decided at the end of the day.
Both of these teams have gone through 3 best of 2s against each other, and every single best of 2 we have seen against Arcana versus Serenity has been 1-1. They have not had a 2-0 between the 2 of them yet, and today they're finally going to settle the record. Whether it goes to 2 games or 3 games, best of 9 is what we're up to for now.
All right, I do want to dive into the pick ban here real quick, because we're seeing a lot of target bans here.
Yes.
Notably, Rel, Haluisa, that's something where that is their best champ in solo queue.
Oh, yeah.
Also, some targeting towards Miss Timo, who has really improved throughout this tournament. The Azir and the Orianna, notably the Orianna was 3-0 for Miss Timo and Serenity this past week. Speaking of 3-0, Vi for MP, they were 3-0 in the champion the last week as well. So a lot of target bans overall, and it looks like with Jax up for Aquatic, that has been their most played throughout the tournament. That will be the first pick.
I am impressed, actually, that Arcana did opt for that Orianna ban. You did mention Ayukura has playing a whole heck of a lot of Orianna. That is by far and away her most played champion in the LCS Game Changers this year. And she did mention she's a little bit tired of Orianna. Get me off this champ, right? Like, I want to play something else, so maybe they banned it so that Ayukura is like, no, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to pick it today. I am definitely expecting Orianna to be a very high presence for all day today, as J4 and Rakan is going to be the jungle support duo here for Serenity.
Yeah, and I know that at least talking beforehand with Heloisia, the Rakan was a lot better from them in this past week.
Yeah.
It's great. We've seen so many players really improve throughout this event. And I think specifically with Heloisia, you know, she is a really good Rel player in solo queue, but seeing her pick up other champs like the Rakan is great. The Jarvan-Rakan duo has been very popular in this tournament. And also what has been popular, the Xin Zhao answer into Jarvan. As we are on 13-17, Spirit Sojin still very powerful. So you can kind of match the build, match the power. Xin only has one way to go though, and that is forward. So I like the fact that Arcana pairing this with a Nautilus for surely. A lot of engage and frontline here already for Arcana locked in, as they're going to round out the draft with the 2 carries later on.
2 carries picked up here. We do have 180 carry picked so far, that being only the Xayah locked in for Yumichi. A very, very comfortable champion for Yumichi. She has played it a lot recently in solo queue, but throughout the LCS Game Changers, I believe this is actually her first time picking it here, but by far, definitely not a faraway champion for her to play. Now, we only have 180 carry actual ban, and that is the Twitch.
Deservedly so.
These teams have just kind of given up trying to ban 80 carries against Arcana, honestly. Like, what can you possibly ban against Ryle?
Yeah, so for context, Ryle has played 10 unique champions in 12 games.
Out of 12 games.
And there was even a game plan. She had a great tweet. It was on Twitter. And it was like the picks. It was actually Serenity's prep against Arcana.
Beautiful.
And under Ryle, it just said anything. Because they played Yasuo bot. There's been like even Swain being like picked up and played too. So I will say though, denying the Kai'Sa, I like. A lot of players are very familiar with the Xayah Kai'Sa matchup. And I will say that for Serenity, they have a really strong core. I was talking about how Arcana is so dive heavy. Xayah plays really well into that, not to mention the pairing with Rakan. So bot priority, we will see if Arcana can break that with a pick for Ryle. As the Vlad and Nico taken away. Vlad very much a target ban towards Shysept. She really specializes in Rengar and Vlad, and it does look to be the Ornn for Shysept. Their most played, as they have 11 unique champs. Orin's the only one they've doubled up on. Now it's a triple up.
They're not picking Lulu. They're not gonna pick. No. Okay, I got a little bit too excited there, but Swain is going to be the lock-in mid of choice there. I highly doubt this is gonna be Yasuo. It would be a very fun Yasuo bot lane. If you have not been watching Ryle's Twitter lately, I don't know what you are doing. She has talked a lot about picking Yone AD carry recently. I don't think we're gonna be seeing a Yone AD carry today. At least I probably hope not, but would be one of the more entertaining choices for sure. We have 2 mages locked in for Arcana. Which one is going to Ayukura? Which one's going to Ryle?
So usually, I would say Swain bot is a little bit more common, but I really like Syndra into Xayah comps because the scatter of the week, again, Xayah likes when teams jump into, you know, the Xayah, right? You just go up in the air, go airborne, she's fine. Syndra with the scatter can keep Xayah at bay. You can try and outrange, then burst down the Xayah. As things being rounded out, Miss Teemo going to lock in the Ahri. I believe that is the first Ahri for Miss Teemo in this event. I know from talking with Perchance, the manager of Serenity beforehand, she spoke very highly of Miss Teemo, said it's been great seeing how much she's improved throughout the event. And I mean, obviously, the experience that these players have gotten throughout the event has been great. I think we've seen teams really get better, but to hear a manager speak so highly of a player really taking advantage of the opportunity like Miss Teemo has is really great to see. And we'll see if she can step up against Ayukura, someone that I covered when they competed with Taco Gaming back in the OQs this past summer.
Yeah, Ayukura has probably the most competitive experience, I believe, out of anyone in this event. She's played on the college side. She's played in the Proving Grounds OQ side. Yep. She has a lot of previous competitive experience, whereas the rest of, specifically Arcana, actually, are a lot of our newer players here. Looking at Ryle probably being the next step closest for competitive experience side, where she did play earlier this year in the NACL OQs, but other than that, they're all very new to the competitive side.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great. One of the highlights for me this week, just seeing all the players, again, take advantage of the opportunity. I had to condense the tape. I was kind of playing catch-up as I had a couple other events I was covering, including the LCS Challengers promotion tournament a couple weeks ago that was running alongside LCS Game Changers. So I got to see all 3 days of tape in the last 3 days, and seeing the teams improve that quickly has been great. I hope we can see more of that today, Camcom.
Absolutely, as we do move on to Summoner's Rift for the first game with the pause. Everybody's favorite screen on Summoner's Rift, yes. Look at the beautiful
gray
pause
screen is your favorite? Come on.
You get to see everything that's happening.
Well, I guess we're going to have to at least stall our excitement a little bit, Camcom, but...
I'm still excited. You can't take that away from me.
No, honestly, it's been really fun. You know, it's your first time in the arena this time. It's been a blast seeing how excited you've been just walking around and kind of getting the lay of the land. You were able to find everything okay the past time?
Yep.
You know, you're on your own?
I only got severely lost one time. I went down one hallway I probably shouldn't have gone down, but other than that, I've gone most of it. I know where the bathroom is and the food is. That's what matters.
Well, hey, live and learn, right? I talked about the teams improving. We're trying to improve here too, broadcast side. Speaking of that, I am being told from production that a little stage audio issue.
Yep.
So that should be solved, and we should be back into the game quickly, as we are excited to get all the action underway. Again, if you are just joining us, 2 best-of-3s as we run the gauntlet. The winner of this best-of-3 gets to face Astro Cats, who are the first seed, but all 3 teams are within 2 games of one another, which has really made this... I would say a pretty exciting conclusion today, Camcom. One I know you've really been looking forward to.
Yeah, I think it's funny that even though we do have a clear first, second, third in terms of standings, their actual scores are 7-5, 6-6, and 5-7. There's literally one game win, not even a series win, one single game win between all 3 teams. So we are still coming into today expecting very, very close games. I don't have team predictions yet, but my game prediction of the day is still 6 games.
I like it. And, you know, someone that actually I used to cast with, have a podcast with, Summer, she had the phrase Game 6 Poggers. And I'm being told that we have the very talented Ashley King with a sideline interview with Summer right now.
Okay, thank you, casters. And I am joined by Summer, the head coach of Arcana, and I am very, very interested in asking you, what is going on with this draft? You picked Swain, and you swapped it into bot lane. Could you please explain?
Yeah, so I think Alice was getting a little jealous that her unique champion total was surpassed by Shysept and wanted to up her game a little bit. Now I believe they're both matching at 11 unique champions. So yeah, she wanted to do that, but also yeah, this is a pick that we've been working on a little bit. We like we saw on Twitter. There are just any champion in the entire game that Ryle can pick. So.
A lot of egos going back and forth. It's great to see, but what would you say is the overall win condition for this competition as we wait for the game to kick off once again?
Well, we're really confident in the spot lane matchup. This is a pick that we specifically prepared for this matchup. We're also very confident in our Jax up top lane. Emily's gonna smurf it, so we've got options in multiple lanes here.
Okay, and we have just gotten back to the game, and so thank you so much for answering my very curious question. And back to you, casters.
Thank you so much, Ashley and Summers. We do move back onto Summers Rift. No more pause screen left. We are now officially into game 1 of our best of 3, or if we're really going for the real record here, this is a best of 9. This is game 7 of our best of 9. Do we make it to 9 games?
I gotta say, I know each team talking with them behind the scenes, they have a lot of respect, as everyone has had, practicing with and against each other throughout this event. But each side is expecting to actually have this go the distance, as I know that things have been very close. This has been, out of all the matchups we've had between these 3 teams, I would say this has been the most back and forth, and actually given us the most competitive games overall throughout the first 3 days of competitions. We'll see that continues day 4. I know we're certainly hoping so.
Absolutely. Nothing super interesting usually happens level 1. Most of the interesting things that happen are usually started by Serenity Aquatic, waiting there in the tri-brush, just trying to get some picks off onto Shy Sept, getting about 50% of her HP off level 1. If you know how to play top lane, then you know that every single percentage of HP matters infinitely more in that lane than any other lane.
Hey, what I tell all top laners, when I used to coach, know your level 1s when you get advantage. Not speaking of knowing level 1s, bot lane.
Bot lane, always so exciting. Loshia with that ignite taken down on her, taking real low. Shirley as well. Yumichi not gonna let them farm this wave for free. Shirley forced to birth both Sums. Ryle as well, burning her ghosts already.
Very, I wouldn't say bloody, but action-packed in the bot lane so far. I know that Marksman was a big focus that we had in the pre-show. Ryle, of course, she's been so vocal about her confidence. I love the tweet she had the other day about just being so, her goal is to go pro. And she was like, I have to be so good that people just can't deny me. They can't say no. If they say no, they aren't doing their job correctly. So I love that attitude. And Ryle has been someone that I know, Capcom, you've really been hyping up throughout this event so far, too.
Ryle told me just earlier this morning, this might be my first time at the LCS studio, but it will not be my last. And I am so excited to see her play, not only today, but hopefully in the future in the pro scene as well. We've talked a whole lot about wave, or I personally have talked a whole lot about wave management. Aquatic going with the slow push into, I'm hoping to cheater on this next wave. That's what I'm hoping for here.
I like it. I think that the level 1 Aquatic had really set her up for success in the top side, as it looks like it's been, it should be the cheater and easy call. And look at that CS difference. That's really good wave management and good knowledge of the matchup being played.
Absolutely, just get any sort of poke on your enemy laner, level 1, especially if it is like a tank and like an Ornn, right? That is a very simple way to get that early cheater. Don't have to TP it back to lane, and as I said, it's actually going for some deep vision instead, but still, getting that extra map pressure around the top side is very helpful.
I do like to see this from Shapeshift. I actually think she's managed her clear rather nicely. So fun fact about Shapeshift, she has a Twitter where she oftentimes posts full clears, has multiple world records for clears, and is actually a part of the C9 staff as a consultant to kind of help with jungle and jungle clears, which I find really cool. She actually reverse cleared this time. I think that she's playing towards the priority she has, because that wave top lane will bounce away from Shy Sept, but it's actually been answered. So Arcana, they had an early base from the Nautilus. They were able to crash. That is why we saw the reverse clear from Shapeshift to try and secure that first crab. But given the roam from Shirley, that ensures that Xin Zhao is actually able to take this top crab. So good team play and rotations coming out. Honestly, from each team, I really like the response from Arcana. I think they played that well.
Absolutely. I think that Shirley roaming topside level 3 is something that I would love to see all supports do more often. First blood picked up in the bot lane. Looks like Serenity tried to dive Ryle, but Ryle is in fact diving you underneath her own tower. That first blood picked up onto Helosia.
I'd love to see a replay on that. And while the bot lane was going on, we actually had Flash Blund from the top side. As MP, they were able to find a successful gank. Let's check this out again. Shirley again was showing on the top side as Helosia able to get in. Oh, really nice yoink. as just a bonus tower shot, tried to get the extra shield, and Yumichi, yeah, she ended up having to walk out. Great defense by Ryle, who, again, has been a big standout in this tournament so far.
For sure, that was a really solid attempt at a punish there by Serenity. You see the support top side, and then you crash a massive wave on the bot side and try to dive the AD carry. But it was just, unfortunately, didn't really go out their way. Like, the intent was there, but the execution not quite there yet. Still looking towards the bot lane here. Has almost always been the most aggressive lane for all of LCS Game Changers this year.
Yeah, a lot of the game plans that matter right now, a lot about pathing bot, and great to see Ryle perform in the 1v2. That's a big difference because, again, while that was going on, you had a win on the bot side, and also, again, props to MP. They got the flash out of Shysept on the top side. So whenever you can win on both sides of the map, always going to be a positive when you're looking in the games. Is Ayukura utilizing a little bit of flexibility between the Swain and the Syndra, of course. I will say the Ahri, a bit of a self-counter pick into Syndra, as in this matchup, you can use the scatters to really keep Ahri at bay. But what I do like about the Ahri is that if you bring Jarvan mid, you have ways to create angles with Ahri plus Jarvan on the Syndra to try and attack. So that is something I'm going to look for from Shapeshift and Serenity to try and attack that mid lane, as at the moment, we're attacking Dragon. Serenity does have bot lane priority. Their bot lane is shifting up to try and secure this, and we'll see if MP decides to contest.
MP definitely knows that they are on the Dragon, but instead going to be looking towards this Teemo. Spirit Rush pop, just looking to get some damage on MP. That level 6 on mid laners is so important. Flash forward from Aloysia as well. Looking for the first one onto MP. No more jungler. Such an excellent punish there from Serenity.
Really good EQ flash coming out from Shapeshift. I will say that Serenity, they did pull off the Dragon, so yes, the kill was secure, but this does delay the timer. This will enable Ryle to actually get that bot wave in. We'll see if she decides to shift on up, but given the 4-stack of Serenity, looks like that first objective is going to go over to their pockets.
This is a really good example from Serenity on how to win a dragon fight before a fight even starts, right? Like you mentioned, they had the bot lane push, they had the mid lane push, and the roam was first from Miss Teemo as well. Everything before the fight went in their favor, and that just makes the fight itself that much easier. Could have been a lot more scrappy if it wasn't so set up as well.
Now what I'm looking for from Arcana to respond, Herald play. I think that Aquatic, props to her. She's played this matchup really well from Jax from that level 1, like we saw at Camcom. Up in CS, but meanwhile, bot, hold on.
Meanwhile, bot, Yumichi is just dead. Root lands on Pelosia, no level 6 available for anyone in the bot lane, and that is a large wave crash. Yumichi's gonna miss so much experience there.
Hey, Summer said on that side of that interview that they prepped this bot lane matchup specifically for this scenario, and it looks to be paying off as, you know, not only did Ryle find that 1v2, but she also was able to get the flash out of Yumichi in that scenario, and that was punished here as they win the level 5. Shysept out of mana, does burn ult on Aquatic, but she should be able to shove out this lane, and I really want to see MP go attack this Rift Herald. You can see Shirley rotating up from that bot lane priority. There's a window here where if Arcana is able to hit the timer, they can have top priority, mid priority, and try and use that to get a Rift Herald, as Shirley is also up in the top side of the map as well.
Charm lands onto Ayukura, but it looks like Ayukura is the one actually coming out on top in that 1v1. And from that 1v1, like you were mentioning, this is the perfect time for a Rift Herald. Shysept is sitting up on top lane, no TP, no way to get back, and no mana to be able to push that wave out. That is the time that you can end up trading the very late first Dragon for first Rift Herald, but of course, first Rift Herald in the current meta has been shown to have a little bit more impact recently. You see both the AD carries have now popped level 6, and Serenity is bringing some friends down to the bot lane. Ryle doesn't actually know that Serenity has a couple members behind her, and now she is going to, has the ult available, will immediately be able to pop a flash under the turret as well. She has so much healing, but the Feather Storm, it'll just be enough for a 1v1. Shut down 1-for-1, still going in the favor of Arcana.
It was the right idea from Serenity because as a team, they decided to drop the Rift Herald. So your answer to that is to go attack bot lane. We saw Shirley, she was up helping the top side of the map, so they had numbers bot, but a little bit of a mis-execution there from Shapeshift and Aloysia. I think that the two of them should wait or spread out their cooldowns to try and follow up the flash. Instead, it was burned at the same time, so Ryle was able to have an official flash in the 1v3, able to trade out one. Well played from Ryle, who she has a lead, and check out the inventory. Already has a Ryle-wise completed.
replay now of the bot lane play. I think if Ryle just had a ward in the tri-brush, this would have been even different. It could have been a 1 for 2 or even just an 0 for 2 if Ryle had just a second extra of knowledge on this play. Even then, though, 1 for 1 is about the best case scenario that you can get in that sort of play. Gotta love Ryle. There she is. I've been watching her player cam throughout the whole game. She plays League how I do, with her legs up on the chair.
Yeah, also with her emotions on her sleeve, which I like.
Oh, yeah.
You really tell, she's invested, and I feel like that energy, that goes a long way, especially in an event where you're working with the same team for months. Always good to have, as we like to call it, sometimes the vibe master in the team, right? Make sure all the vibes are good. That can go a long way, as Ryle has all the kills on her shoulders so far. Again, 3-1. Rywise already completed. That is the first item completed in the game. And when it comes to this composition, Serenity with Jarvan, Ahri, and Rakan, they are trying to go in hard and engage. Rywise can buy you a lot of space, where we talked about how the Syndra, she can use those scatters to really keep Serenity at bay. Rywise slowing people down can help set up with that too. So I think Arcana doing a nice job. At least Ryle individually doing a really nice job of executing, but I want to see if Arcana can play out these fights correctly, where they really play around scatter, play slow, and try and pick members one by one as they absorb the engage of Serenity and then turn it on them.
I love how this is the first time we're, oh, never mind, fighting the bot lane. Hook lands onto Yumichi. She does not have Featherstorm for a few more seconds. TP coming in now as well. Featherstorm just came off cooldown, but she's already dead. TP canceled as well, and just like that, it's a double kill for Ryle.
Great call, Camcom. You can see on the scoreboard right now, Yumichi, the ultimate is available for her, but it was not available during the fight. That rank 1 ult for Xayah is a very long cooldown.
180 seconds.
Yeah, Arcana, they were able to punish it. So, again, looking at the replay, great dredge line from Shirley to follow up on the E from Ryle. And, I mean, once that hook connects, no flash, no Featherstorm. You can see it on your screen right there. Not available for Yumichi, and she goes down.
And she just goes down. I think the TP cancel, I didn't quite catch who the TP was from. It's from Ornn on the top line, so I'm guessing Jax just got some sort of CC. She promised me she'd flex on stage. Oh, okay. Top lane.
It's a trade, but more minions died, right? That's sending a message, right? The one for one.
Yes.
That's an honorable fight in the top side.
The mental message that gets sent. You get more experience tonight, therefore I win the 1v1, and you got the Divine Sunderer completed for Aquatic off that one as well. So she is definitely sitting real happy, real pretty in the top lane. TP on the bot lane. Flash hook lands on Alosia. Rylson real low though. Does not have her ultimate available quite yet, but does have the Ghost and the team to help her. Alosia is the first member down. Miss Teemo TPing a little bit too late to help the fight, and I believe Arcana just can take this dragon now.
It's a 3K gold lead for Arcana, and denying the dragon stacking too for Serenity kind of removes one of the mechanics. Now, I think if you are Serenity, again, looking at this draft, I was really hoping that Jarvan and Ahri would try and attack the Cinder in the mid lane. You can create a lot of angles on mid laners, especially control mages as Jarvan plus Ahri. We saw that be contested and actually turned early by Arcana, but Serenity continuing to try and play bot in the Ryle's way too damn fed on the Swain, and look at the build. It looks like they're going for potentially a Jack Show second, which is going to make Swain so tanky as a drain tank, and really difficult for Serenity to get through, as we see Ayukura land a really nice scatter on this Teemo. Herald being crashed, plates going over, and Ayukura set up for success. Oh boy!
Oh, good flash. Okay. Just like that, Ayukura has the emote to pop as well for it. I do want to mention that was the first Rift Herald pop, so it wasn't actually popped on the top lane when we thought that it would be in the bot lane 2v2 tower dive, but instead will be shared between 3 members, those plates in the mid lane, right? And we've been talking a whole lot about Ryle and Swain. I mean, when are we not talking about Ryle, right? But I love that this is the first time we have seen the Swain picked by Arcana when it has already been such a high priority for both Serenity and Astrocats. So that does kind of show Arcana has been studying the other teams, has been studying. We have a little bit of our own meta going on in the LCS game changes. So I love that not only are we seeing a game 1, but now we know that if Arcana do take this series, that's going to be yet another contested pick between her and Fairy Girl.
I was about to say, I think everyone may be learning from Fairy Girl, who does await one of these 2 mid laners in the finals, as she was the highest ranked player that we had entering Game Changers, and that was off the back of her, I believe, 65% win rate Swain in over 100 games. So we'll see that later. We're going to focus on this match right now, as at the moment, I mean, everything is coming up Arcana's way, and look at that gold grab. Ryo and Ayukura, this double mage duo, no marksman so far ahead, and that is important because I will say, I don't think that Arcana's comp like runs out of gas. Sometimes when you are missing a traditional marksman as the game goes later, like 3+ items, you can somewhat fall off, but Syndra does scale so hard individually, and the amount of space that can be bought for Syndra in this comp as a whole, I think Arcana's going to be just fine, but I do want to see Arcana continue to try and push the pace as Ryle is way too damn strong right now. And we see Serenity at the moment.
Serenity Charm does land onto Aquatic. I think she should be perfectly safe. That Ignite blown there as well by Helosia. They showed 3 members bot lane, though. Of course, that will be the second Rift Herald in a row as well, actually picked up for Arcana. That was not the first tower taken. First tower was actually taken in at the mid lane by that first Rift Herald, actually. Yep. Arcana will be trading the bot lane outer turret for the top lane outer turret as well. So there's lots of like large macro gameplay going on right now. But I think it's quite funny that we already have objective bounties like immediately spawned at 15 minutes, right?
It really does give you a good signifier of really, how much in favor this game is right now of Arcana. And I will say props to Serenity, getting the bounty on the bot side and trading that for Herald. Unless this Herald gets 2 crashes, that is okay for Serenity, the fact that they did get bounty gold. So they did cut in that gold lead a little bit. I just think this game is very difficult for them, given how far behind both the Ahri and the Xayah are. Because those are the 2 damage dealers that are going to be looking to get through the drain tank, or Ryle, who again is just out of control fed at the moment and really tough to deal with.
And Ryle as well is a player that is really good at taking a game, getting an early game lead, and then just running away with it. We have seen so many games, not only in solo queue, not only in scrims, but even here in the LCS Game Changers, that she's been able to just run away with games 1v9. She's finished so many games with, what, like 10+ kills? It's insane.
I mean, even the very first game of Game Changers, Ryle got her hands on the Twitch, and Twitch has been pretty much permanently banned from Ryle for the rest of the tournament because she was able to take over that game on the champion that, she puts a lot of time into when it comes to solo queue. We'll see if Ryle can continue to do so, as at the moment, a brief respite in the action can come. I'm
never.
I think Arcana, they're waiting for this upcoming dragon to come up. It's 60 seconds away. I don't think Serenity should actually contest this. It's not like it's a sole point, and I think Serenity should start to look to play for this top turret because, again, I'm looking at this Swain. If Swain gets another base in, Ryle, she's going to have another item on top of that Ryle-wise, and I just don't think that it's possible to win the dragon fight, given the items that the carries of Serenity have at the moment.
And also looking at items as well. Oh, never mind.
This is good.
Aquatic.
She's sniffing it out, but she's gonna hang around.
2 members of Serenity Wayne right behind Aquatic. They're looking for this tower dive, but the TP will be joining them, and just like that, immediately calling the dive off as well. Ayukura will not let them dive the tower that easily.
I will say that this could be a little bit tricky because Serenity, now they have the fast path. Ayukura, she can't TP back to the dragon, so if Serenity actually wants to full commit, they might have a numbers advantage. They're going to drop top outer turret, as that is really just 2 or 3 lamppost swings away from falling, as Arcana, they hit way to trap. Ryle, eyes on the Swain.
Eyes on the shapeshift as well. MP diving straight in, and there is Ryle on top of them all. MP with the first pick. Root lands on Ryle, but she's still sitting at 50% of her HP. You cannot heal cut the Swain if the Swain will cut your life. Helosia just about able to run away with 1 HP, and Ryle, I mean, she's not letting them run away for free by any means. 2 quick kills picked up there for Arcana, as well as the second dragon.
That's a great read from Arcana. As I was saying, with that TP top from Ayukura, there was a chance to get a numbers advantage around the dragon. So Serenity, they saw that and said, hey, maybe we have a chance to fight this. I can't talk as Shysept.
Shysept, I mean, double knockup into double knockup, just like that. Ayukura almost making out alive. That is a 150 shutdown picked up for Shysept. If nothing else, that's a mental win for them.
It's something. You got to find something at this point, as again, this game is starting to get pretty out of control. But Arcana, they know that there could be a numbers advantage at the dragon, but Ayukura, she tails Serenity on the rotation, and Ryle lays a great trap. And of course, we've spent so much time talking about how Ryle, she's so fed on the Swain. No one can deal with their. The reason we didn't want Serenity to fight that dragon is that the carries don't have the damage to get through the Swain. And man, we saw that there as Ryle pretty much press ghost, walk forward, and no one can deal with it.
I mean, Arcana have been really good at these press R wombo combo team comps. We've seen that type of team comp from them in draft so many times so far, and this wasn't even one that screamed like press R run at them type of comp for me, but they still were able to manage that with just MP and Ryle going in together. They pressed the 2 engaged buttons at the same time, and 2 members of Serenity kind of just blew up.
Now, for Arcana, Baron's on the board. I like how Aquatic, she has shifted down to the bot side.
Shape-shifted?
potentially as Aquatic. She should be able to get this turret. Herald is actually dropped bot. This is around the timer of the Baron. I'm curious if Aquatic actually ends up shifting top, because the Baron damage isn't great for Arcana given the items that Swain went for, but Arcana's so far ahead, you gotta assume that they can at least try and make a play for this. Oh boy, Aquatic.
Oh boy, Aquatic is just here to bully Shysept all game, straight from level 1, has not let Shysept play the game whatsoever. With that, our first solo kill of the top laners here, without it being a 1-for-1, and
another
one here, the top lane as well. The solo laners of Arcana are just not gonna let Serenity play the game today.
Things falling apart for Serenity. I do want to credit Aquatic, as I was talking with Summer before. Hold on, we'll see if Aquatic can escape.
Aquatic burning the flash, trying to get away, but the knockup lands, and there's not much she can really do from this one. She's gonna try and fight it out within the Cataclysm, jumping onto Helosi as well. She has so much damage, but just not quite enough.
Look at Baron.
That's a 150 shutdown picked up for Yumichi, but yeah, you gotta look at the Baron. Where's the rest of Arcana? They're gonna be on that Baron.
That really does sum up the map. 3 people sent to kill the top laner, but the big purple worm killed by the other 4 of Arcana as they secure that objective.
Was it worth it? We will find out in a few minutes with the Baron buff spawning for them. You got 3 minutes to use that buff wisely. We'll see how many towers they can take and see if it was worth that shutdown picked up for Yumichi.
Again, I really do want to credit Aquatic, though, as I think she's having a really good game, and she's someone that had a lot of room to grow coming to Game Changers. I know talking with Summer before, the coach of Aquatic, she said, hey, you know, like, this is like the best Emerald player I've ever seen, because she did have a long way to climb, you know, for her ELO, her starting point. But Summer was really singing the praises of Aquatic, how hard she's been able to work throughout this event, and how much better she's, you know, been able to get. I feel like this is the best game we've seen from Aquatic on stage so far in Game Changers at the right time, as of course they are in the right games arena.
Absolutely, and going up against Shysept as well is quite the tough challenge.
Yeah.
Shysept has popped off on, what, 11 out of 12 unique champions so far, right?
Yep.
Like, this is a very difficult top laner to play against this well, and Aquatic's been doing it all the way since level 1. Arcana looking to play around this inner turret on the top lane. Serenity, they're going to try and protect it, but they are still down about 7,000 gold.
It's a tough ask for Serenity. It's really tricky because they have to commit, and you're committing into a Swain. And Ryle continues to build tanky items. As that Giant Spell, I would not be surprised if Ryle, she's going for the Demonic Embrace next on the Swain, trying to stack up some of the damage, and this, as long as that item synergizes very well, especially with the Jock Show. It's already in the inventory, and right now, everything coming up the way of Arcana. You see Ayukura, even she's in the side lane on her own as a Syndra. That's pretty tough to do. Syndra can be tough to take down, but she's so far ahead in this matchup that she is the one taking down turrets that she can't be dealt with.
Ayukura single-handedly taking the inhibitor turret down on the bot lane as the Cinder. Like, that is not the split pusher we thought.
Nope.
Going into this game, you would have thought it was the Jax or someone else, but no. First inhibitor taken, first team fight in the mid lane here as well. Looking to try and turn it back around. Cataclysm is huge on the back line. So much CC. And Serenity is actually the one's coming out on top. Shapeshift though trying to run away. Yumichi comes out massive. Ryle, last member standing. The Swain ult's going to run out in just a few seconds, and she's the only member of Arcana that can stop Serenity, and just like that, it's a 4-for-1.
It was a full engage onto the Xayah, but Yumichi, she pulls it off in the back half, and this is a marksman I was really excited about coming into this event, because fun fact, last year I was actually helping TL with their tryouts for their Challengers team, and Yumichi, I put forward her bonds in those tryouts. I was very impressed by especially her Samira play. I think she chooses spots to go in very well. This time she's playing Escape, but she gets caught by a great scatter from Ayukura. But look at how Yumichi's able to get out of this. Feathers go up in the air, able to sidestep the stun, gets a huge root down, then a flash, and then look at her duel versus Ayukura, able to sidestep the W and the Q. Eats the Q on the back half, but was even able to still get the damage down with the Kraken Slayer. That's great play from Yumichi. Flash to the end too. Really good. We've seen some great moments from her where she's able to pick her spots. Someone that both Avril and Ryle really respect. She's been put down for most of this game, but great to see her pop off in the back half as Serenity still have some life in this game.
I also think that the first time that Serenity completely ignored Ryle, right? Like, not a single time did anybody throw an ability, throw an auto, throw anything in Ryle's direction. She was sitting there full HP, and then the rest of her team just fell around her, right? Like, nobody else has nearly as much HP or healing that the Swain can manage. finally that outer tower is taken, but the Dragons are now tied. Serenity won that last team fight into the Dragon, and that is something that we've actually seen them struggle with a little bit, is winning team fights and then taking objectives after it. Sometimes the team fights that they win are 2 or 3 minutes before objective is actually alive, but this time they timed it just so perfectly that the Dragons, I mean, it's only a gold lead at this point.
I do want to return to that last point you were making, Camcom, as you said that the fight, it felt like Arcana were kind of falling around Ryle. I think that's very key for Arcana moving forward. I want to see if they can diagnose it, as they did drop that fight. But as a team, I want to see if they can identify, hey, we just need to fight around Ryle. She's so fed. Don't leave the zone of the Swain ultimate, right? Let Serenity engage into us and then turn it from there. I think trying to find their own fight, engage, and see some of the power of the Xayah piloted by Yumichi there. Again, this champion, very good when you are diving into it. If you are able to instead space it with Swain and Syndra and Nautilus, I think that sets up to be a better team fight for Arcana. So we'll see if, as a team, they can adapt moving forward. At the moment, they have a nice 4-1 going. Baron's up in a minute. I expect to see them reset rather soon to play around that objective coming up.
By no means, though, is Ryle not still a threat, right? She's sitting at 9 stacks on the Darksteel. 1 item away from a Magi's completed as well. That was a little bit gross damage on Miss Timo, not gonna lie. We do finally have the 4-1 that I think probably was the initial strategy from Champ Select, where Aquatic is the 1 and the rest are the 4, but they don't have the Baron buff anymore for Arcana, and that makes it significantly harder to push into the massive amount of wave clear that Yumichi and Miss Tima both have for Serenity.
I do like what Arcana was able to do, though, as you highlighted, Ayukura on the Syndra very far ahead, does a lot of damage. Syndra scales so nicely throughout the game. As a team, they were at least able to keep Serenity in their base, so they get to reset first. They bought their items, and they'll be in time to try and set up this Baron. But you can see Shysep, she's feeling generous, giving out some ornaments as gifts. As Yumichi now upgraded item in the inventory, as you can see that Ivori now all Ornn powered up. And we'll see if Arcana, again, that doesn't show on the gold graph. So props to Serenity. This is a comp where I feel like later in the game, they have a traditional marksman. They might be able to scale back into this one if they are able to kind of play the fights they want to, absorb the engages for Arcana, and be careful about overcommitting into the Swain. If you commit into the Swain, it has to be clean. If not, we will see Ryle clean up.
It is funny that you point that out, that Yumichi and Ryle actually have 3 items plus boots apiece. The only difference right now is the fact that Ryle has the Darksteel. If Yumichi had a Darksteel for some reason and was playing a mage, this would be literally exactly even. And it is important to note as well, pretty massive CS lead that Yumichi has.
Okay, hold on.
Near 100
on.
over Ryle. There's secretly a Baron going on? What's going on up there?
So Serenity, they were trying to play for a pick onto Aquatic. Maybe they don't feel like they can actually contest this Baron. It's being done rather slow, as again, they don't have that traditional marksman. Shapeshift, she's starting to at least get an inkling. Yeah, get an inkling that this is being hit, and Arcana actually pull off. And now Yumichi has an early ult. That's trouble.
Yumichi first forced the early Featherstorm, and she's fighting straight into the waiting arms of Arcana. First number to be blown up. TP a little bit late as well to try and save their AD carry. Ryle flashing forward, has the ghost as well. You cannot outrun this Swain. Let's see if she's gonna try, and with the quickness, just about able to make it out alive. Miss Timo might not be so lucky. Couple of charges left on the Spirit Rush, just about able to make it out alive. Is luckily for them, only 2 picks for Arcana.
That was a great call by Ryle, as Yumichi, she didn't have flash up. It came up in the gray screen, so Ryle able to attack. The angle on the E also fantastic. Yumichi was trying to dodge it by going south, but Ryle was able to adjust, finds the kill onto the Xayah. When that piece is removed, Arcana free reign on the base as the first inhibitor falls, and the mid inhibitor should follow.
Second inhibitor, very quick to follow the first one. You win one, not even small team fight, right? Like, it was just 2 picks, and then just like that, you don't need a Baron if you clear out the person that can clear the waves. Much easier to take inhibitors that way.
I will say as well, I do respect Arcana resetting. They decided to play for 2 inhibitors, which I think is worth it, but there is a chance Shysep's gonna chase this. And there's a chance Dragon's up. This should go to the pockets of Serenity, because Arcana just made a big play on the map. They've yet to reset. So if they want to fight this, Ayukura, she needs to base and TP back. That's not going to be the case. They're going to kill the mid-wave instead and maintain that prio over the Baron. So this does give Serenity that backdoor win con of Soul, as they just secured Soul Point.
And also, Serenity having the traditional marksman, the Xayah, right? Like, they can shred these neutral objectives so quickly. You did get the recall from Yumichi, Ayukura, but she does immediately TP back to lane. Just, again, a little bit too late to actually take any sort of dragon fight. Soul is on the board now for Shysep, and
Yumichi, she has to be careful. She's showing bot. She doesn't have access to TP. So seeing the Xayah bot, we're going to have Arcana sprint towards this Baron and Shapeshift. Really scared to walk in. Does spot out Ayukura, but I think this Baron's going to go down for free. Good map control from Arcana, cashing in on those 2 inhibitors they just took. Yes, they just dropped the Dragon, but that gives them the map pressure they need to get the Baron.
They took 2 inhibitors without even having the Baron. Imagine what they can do with their second Baron of the game, taken at just 29 minutes. They're still sitting at about 8,000 gold lead. They have maintained this gold lead for about the past 15 minutes, honestly, right? Like, we had objective bounty spawn the second that they were able to at 14 minutes. This game is still going strong at 30 minutes. It still could easily be a Serenity win, and that is how close we have seen these teams throughout the entirety of the tournament, right? That is why they have gone 1-1 in every single best of 2 they played.
We'll see. I think Yumichi and Serenity need to have another big fight like the one that we saw by that mid inner turret early on. Again, I think Arcana's done a nice job of diagnosing what went wrong in that fight, trying to change it. As a good scatter from Ayukura is going to keep her safe. I like the attempt, though, from Heloisia. I think that in a straight-up 5v5, given the gold lead of 8k in the pockets of Arcana, it's going to be really tough to win. So I think playing for picks, as they were trying to set up, was the right call from Heloisia, but she's not able to connect. Good scatter from Ayukura, keeps her safe. Now we're going to see Arcana barrel down top lane as they have both inhibitors down. 1 more to go. This will be very tough for Serenity to stop.
If you give them any time for a reaction speed check on you from a Rakan, right? Like, at this point, like, most of these players are Master GM Challenger, right? Like, you can win the reaction speed checks every single time at that level. 3rd inhibitor finally taken that does unlock the 2 super minions in every wave. Miss Teemo forced to go golden there. No more stopwatch for you for a couple of minutes. She is in real low HP as well. Could very easily be a pick in Arcana. They've taken all the inhibitors at this point. They just gotta take the Nexus.
TP required from Shy Sept as she was trying to keep the supers at bay in the bot lane, but needs to regroup. We'll see if the Ornhorn is called, as that's likely to start off the fight. Here we go.
Looking to clear the wave here, maybe get a double knockup as well. Shy Sept trying to single-handedly engage. Massive knockup into the backline, but there's just not enough follow-up.
Not bad.
Heloisia as well, a little bit late. Cataclysm on to 3. Massive turnaround from Shapeshift. Serenity are taking this game back in their hands. Ryle is surviving for so long, but Yumichi is here to save the day, save the Nexus. It's a triple kill for her so far. Ryle is surviving for so long. She is still the Swain, but Serenity playing it slow, playing it as slowly as possible. Ryle flash forward. She's keeping us in this game. Shapeshift taken down. You've got that burn. And so many minions on your base. You do not have any towers left. It's going to be a backdoor from the minions at this point.
They can stop it, though, and props to Serenity. The setup they had from both Shapeshift and Heloisia was fantastic, and you can see Yumichi on the traditional marksman, her ability to pump out damage in the later half, but again, it's so tough to deal with Ryle. She flashed to take out Yumichi as, oh no!
The minions are a problem! Ryle is a problem! The Baron is here to end the day, and just like that, game 1 goes to Arcana.
Ryle with the Baron, riling up those minions, making sure that they can help Ryle take down the Nexus. As props to Serenity, I gotta say, I think Serenity had some nice moments to turn around fights. The setup they had around Yumichi was good, but the early game, too good from Arcana, and that bot lane lead, Ryle was able to get ahead. You could not fight into the Swain going in, and I really think Serenity played that out nice, or tried to play things out nicely, but it was Arcana and Ryle being too far ahead that really broke the game.
Serenity were down 8k plus gold almost that entire game, right past the 15-minute mark, and they played so well and so slowly that you would have not known that.
I love this from Heloisia. So Shy Sept finds a big knockup, but look at Heloisia buy time, wait for the scatter to come up, and then find Ayukura, who I think is the most valuable member in the back half of these fights. This opens up space for Yumichi to really pump out the DPS, as this was a winning fight for Serenity. And again, in the later stage of the game, having Traditional Marksman's great. Shapeshift hit 2 really big EQs, not to mention the Cataclysm that made sure that Ayukura fell. The stopwatch from Yumichi was brilliant, but again, Swain, the story of this game, just too damn big.
You cannot deal with Ryle. I mean, even the team fights that they literally ignored Ryle, she was still alive, right? Like, I don't know her final KD of the game, but I think it was 0 or 1 deaths, right?
Yeah, 1 death.
1 death.
Which, I mean...
That's how you do it.
It was the only fight they lost, too.
Man, just the Baron as well. They took 2 Barons. Obviously, the second Baron is the one that actually ended the game. But the minions, look how many minions there are in their base right now. Yeah. How do you deal with that?
You don't. That's what happens when you knock down 3 inhibitors and have Baron. As the Drain tank survives, the minions do the work. And I mean, that's a lot of friends you recruit into the party right there. As Ryle.
Yes, the flex. I would have been disappointed if Ryle didn't hit the flex at that one there.
Yeah, and you can see Serenity backstage. Honestly, you can take some good learnings from that game. Again, I feel like Serenity, they got really far behind early on. They were actually able to find angles where it felt like they were winning team fights.
Yeah.
Those are positives you can always take into the back half of the best of 3, but hey, they're going to have to win 2 games in a row if they want to have a date with Astrocats in the finals. And again, Arcana, Summer said it, we prepped this bot lane to answer the Xayah Rakan. It was executed really well in lane. I think they played it out relatively well in the later fights. They were able to snowball that early lead into a victory.
For sure, but that is all the time that we have for game number 1 of our first best of 3. We're going to be looking for some more information from that first game back at the analyst desk.
Thank you, Cam, and welcome, Basil. If you don't know her, she is a FlyQuest artist and content creator, and also did the art for Astrocats. Yeah. So welcome to the desk.
Thank you, thank you.
Since you are an artist, I draw stuff on LCS. Ashley draws stuff. If you've seen her famous buff Nessus, Angry Ashley.
And I like to judge things.
Yes, exactly. We have Judge Jolly over here. And so each of us have taken a player that we thought made a massive difference in that game and drawn them in a very quick amount of time towards the end of the game. So I don't know, do you want me to reveal first? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, you want to
Mine is pretty bad. It could only be Ryle. So this is Ryle as Swain. Ignore the fact that my crows look like bats. But you have the, you have the hand. Like, you saw her popping off. Honestly, like, I wish LCS players would pop off as much as all of our Game Changers players already have been doing on Dusk. They have so much personality. But yeah, I mean, after a few of those early bot lane kills, she ended up taking over the game.
Okay, I'll do a dramatic reveal, and I agree with Emily. It only has to be Ryle. Like, like this is like Swains have to be angry and a bit jaded. You want to capture that feeling, but like, as an ARAM Swain player, I was like vicariously living through her as she built Jaxio and built towards like the AP/health, and then like 1v string every single team fight. I was like so satisfying to see and the dev to complete it off. It's like an amazing way to start off Game Changers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as much as I think Ryle kind of went crazy that game, I want to give some respect to my girl, Ayukura. I think she did really well.
So
I wanted to draw her as a little cat. As you can see, here's the enemy team. And then all the balls.
Yeah.
The logo even. But yeah.
Her KDA of 3,000.
Yeah, 3,000 KDA.
That's beautiful. All right, I mean, I hate to be a judge on something that I'm really bad at, which is drawing, right? And you guys are all fantastic, but
I was gonna say, I feel like there's an obvious winner.
I'm sorry. Also, you got the colors going on as well, and bat crows for the both of you. I gotta say, you gotta work on those crows. But that was such a good game, and you know what? I like the respect as well there for Ayukura, because everybody was saying Ryle's name that game. We got a lot of the devil horns. We got a lot of Ryle with the muscles, showing off. So it is good to kind of give a nod of respect there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's cheating to use Cass in order to win competitions because, bringing in Casting is just like, cheating.
I'm a one-trick player. This is all I got.
No, it's great. It's your brand. We're gonna roll through some of those early game highlights because I think the big thing, I'm glad you actually brought up Ayukura, Basil, because she did have a lot of pressure in that mid lane, but obviously it was so much more about Ryle getting these early kills even when they tried to dive her multiple times.
There were a couple moments for me, for Ayakura in particular, even towards the early part of the game, where you see the opportunity for maybe Shapeshift to come in and do some sort of gank in the jungle, and she instantly has eyes on that player, throws down a Q, scatters the weak, and says, no, get out of my lane. And there's just no opportunity for them to be able to retaliate. So when it comes to early game control, that was definitely in the hands of Ayakura.
Yeah, and I think, once again, we're just gonna see Ryle kind of take over this entire game. Ashley, I know at the beginning, you talked to Summer and she said this was their answer, right? Like this is what they wanted to end up doing in that bot lane.
And this is something that I want to add more generically for the overall game. I'm just really impressed by the level of performance as well as flair that we're seeing from both teams. Obviously, this is the first time they're performing on stage for most of the players. And they're like, picking up their comfort pings, like, having swagger and then like, giving up the dabs as a post-match. And it's just so exciting to see. Like, I like it.
Yeah, one thing we kind of didn't bring up, but I know Summer brought up in the interview is relying on Ryle's ability to play pretty much anything, right? Like there was that joke tweet where she tweeted out that, the draft prep against me is anything. We have a graphic of her champion pool prior to going into this. And then obviously Summer brought up, oh, we didn't get to add the Swain. Nice. Okay, so yeah, wow. She's almost...
They're gonna fill that chart up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go on to the next row soon. And then we have obviously the end of game pop off from her, right? Because for a little while it did look like Serenity would be able to get back into it around the Xayah.
Yeah, I think it was really scary, but Raya was just such a big contributor to her team's win because of how well the rest of the map was able to hold it down. And I think that's why when I was talking about like Ayu, I think she really held down mid lane to be able to enable her bot lane to succeed, which I think is a very important factor. And I mean, at the very end of the game, Ryle is just beating them up with like 10 HP for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, when you've got Ayukura like holding down the mid lane, we didn't need any roam, right? You just had the ability to continue to focus on that bottom lane, which is something that we've seen from all of these game changers teams. Look at those stats. Look at that blue. That is a lot of blue. But then you know what? We gotta compliment some of the damage that we're also seeing on the opposite side of the map there.
Nothing weird going on. Just like the bot laner of the team dealing most damage.
Yeah.
AD carry, dealing the most damage. That's normal.
That is the meta. I mean, shout out to Ayakura as well, because she ended up, again, like, I'm really glad Basil chose to highlight her as well. In this matchup, obviously the Swain topping the damage numbers. But Yumichi on the Xayah, she almost brought it back for Serenity. So now going into our next matchup, Serenity selecting blue side, what would you all want to see from them in terms of improvement or takeaways that they can take away from game one?
I don't know. It just seems, as we mentioned in the beginning of the show, in the pre-show, it seems to be so difficult to shut down Arcana when it comes to bot lane as well as the champion picks. So, like in the previous game, both teams made the choice to lower their bot lane pick to pick by, I believe. And then I wonder if there's going to be any shift in priority, and maybe Serenity might also try to play towards top side a bit more. It's something that we haven't seen since week 1, perhaps.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I think first off, more hype. Gotta see, we saw so much hype coming out of the side of Arcana there. We gotta see some more hype from Serenity. But I do agree, the Ornn pick I know was something that they were kind of looking forward to utilizing against the Jax, trying to prod that Jax out. I know Shyseft is really sick and tired of playing the Jax, and she's like, the point of it is to get the ban or to get the opposing team to pick that champion so that I can play the Ornn into it. But the problem is then you give Jax the prio and you're playing so far for the later game that you're not going to be able to ramp up enough and actually scale to the point when you've got a Swain on the other team, when you've got a Jax on the other team. So I want to see a little bit more, like Ashley said, early game focus towards the top side. They've got a lot of power there.
Yeah, and when we saw them succeed in week 3, a lot of it did come from that, right? So on the other side of the break, we have game 2 coming up. We'll see if Serenity take those notes and others from game 1. Thank you, Basil. Woo!
Ready?
Ready?
I'm good.
Top the box.
Ready?
Ready.
Yes, chef.
Ready.
Yeah.
Yes, chef. Ready.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef. Ready.
Fine, in the bot lane, hook lands onto Yumichi. She does not have Featherstorm for a few more seconds. TP coming in now as well. Featherstorm just came off cooldown, but she's already dead. TP canceled as well, and just like that, it's a double kill for Ryle. First inhibitor taken, first team fight in the mid lane here as well. Looking to try and turn it back around. Cataclysm is huge on the back line, so much CC. And Serenity is actually the one's coming out on top. Shakeshift's gonna try to run away. Yumichi comes out massive.
She's got to push. She's got to push. She's got to push. She's got to push.
You need TP. You need TP.
Yeah. We can run them down in the. Wait. Yeah. Run them down in the game.
I'm just gonna change
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
Keep going.
I'm unkillable.